special prices. Smart stove. Just can't say no. Get 9.9 APR when you make a deal on the right Ford car right now. Thunderbird and Bronco 2 and Tempo, hey, they're all brand new. Mustang, Escort, LTD, your Northland Ford dealer, the one to see right now. We've got the right car, the right price, the right time is now, right now.
WCCO Television, Minneapolis, St. Paul. From WCCO Television, the Northwest's leading news station, this is the 6 p.m. report.
Good evening, everyone. The 1983 session of the Minnesota Legislature is history. It ended at the stroke of midnight with all of its major business completed. Looking back over the session, it was not only a busy one, but a very costly one for taxpayers. Several measures increasing taxes were adopted. Also, our lawmakers devised new ways to spend our money for the common good, such as a super fund to clean up toxic waste and aid for owners of lemon cars and other measures designed to help people. And of course, there were the customary big-ticket items, including this time workers' compensation. Governor Perpich and DFL leaders in the legislature are calling the session one of the most productive in history. Today, in an interview with WCCO's Alan Cox, Mr. Perpich expressed delight.
Oh, I think it was a good session. I'm, jumping with joy. I believe that it's probably one of the best legislative sessions in Minnesota's history. They have given us the tools that we need to get Minnesota back on track. If we don't, it's our responsibility. The legislature just did an outstanding job. They gave us all that we asked for practically, at least 95% of it.
And as there always are, there were prolonged fights at the Capitol, including the controversy over workmen's compensation.
The final debate on workers' compensation began in the House just an hour before adjournment. The measure had passed earlier in the Senate, and Karen Boros followed it as it was debated in the House.
A job offer to an injured worker would reduce that worker's benefit payments, while a worker with no job offer would see payments increase. It is a benefit package opposed by organized labor.
Disabuse anyone of the idea that that labor supports this bill in any measure, at all, in any way.
It is a bill similar to one passed earlier in the House when a group of renegade DFLers joined Republicans to vote yes. This time around, the coalition of DFLers and Republicans expanded to include party leadership on both sides.
The roll call will be taken. We know you got the votes, and we had plans to filibuster this to midnight. But why pound our heads in the ground? Like Mr. Rice said, you grind the heads of the injured in the ground, and why should we pound our heads? So we'll be next.
Finally, with just 35 minutes to go before adjournment, the bill that has been hung up for 5 months got lukewarm endorsement from proponents.
It's the best work product that I could get out of our committee. We could get through the Senate, the best that we could come up with. And while folks aren't supporting it, this is going to be one of those rare opportunities that the legislature is going to make a decision that it sometimes has to without agreement on the outside.
If you believe that we're solving the problem tonight, you believe in temporary taxes. If you believe this solves the problem, you believe that indexing is safe. If you believe all of those things, you believe in Santa Claus. This bill is only the first step. The issue isn't going away.
There are no dollar amounts attached to the benefit schedule in the new bill. Instead, Labor and Industry Commissioner Steve Keefe is mandated to write a new schedule of benefits based on the amount of money paid out on January 1st of this year and have that schedule ready by January 1st of next year. Karen Boros, WCCO Television News at the state capitol.
Lawmakers also approved a massive $1.9 billion health, welfare, and corrections bill last night. An interesting feature of the total package, an exemption for the city of Brainerd from state laws that require the fluoridation of drinking water. For years, of course, Brainerd has fought the mandatory fluoride rule. As we mentioned earlier, state taxes will be going up in several areas, and homeowners will see property tax rates rise as the state offers less of a subsidy on property taxes. Lisa Schrofer analyzes how those changes will affect different types of communities.
Property tax relief has been cut by $42 million over the next 2 years, and communities with relatively low taxes related to municipal services have been targeted for cuts from that aid. North Oaks, for example, is losing most of its state aid, and Arden Hills has been cut by almost half as a result of the bill. Some communities that have come out on the short end are crying no fair. Why should cities be penalized, they say, for keeping their services down? The mayor of Arden Hills believes community taxes in his city will probably have to be raised to compensate. The tax bill means that if you own an average home in St. Paul, say valued at $60,000, your property tax will drop by about $82. A home with the same value in North Oaks will be taxed $5 less, while a $100,000 house in high tax rate St. Paul will be taxed $36 less, when a house of the same tax value in North Oaks will be taxed $66 more. City leaders in North Oaks say there may be private grumbling by some homeowners who owe more taxes, but there won't be any official complaints. North Oaks has a surplus of funds right now and is not in any financial trouble. The city of St. Paul came out comparatively well.
Our real estate tax is probably the biggest enemy that the stability of our city has right now. In a 3-year period, we've gone from a fairly modest and manageable real estate tax to one that I just think is way too high. And this bill helps to respond to that problem.
Lisa Schrofer, WCCO Television News, Ramsey County.
And by the way, the final property tax rates, of course, will not be determined until this fall when communities set their mill levies.
Come July, the 9 members of Minnesota's newly appointed Racing Commission are expected to be in place. Yesterday, the first 2 appointments were made. The Commission's first duty will be to select the site or sites for a racetrack. Debbie Ely checks the field.
The communities with racetrack sites to offer are lining up in the starting gate. There are no favorites to win yet. Among the entrants, a tract of land in Blaine, 2 different parcels in Dakota County, and a privately owned stretch of ground across from Valley Fair. A dark horse for the outstate location is the Brainerd International Raceway. The owner has been approached by a developer, but he's not sure he wants to sell. Commission member Ray Elliott sees no photo finish between outstate and metro area track sites. In his opinion, a track in the 7-county metro area wins by a full length.
I think it would be much easier to have it done here first and to get our groundbreaking and ground rules established before we started in an area that isn't as heavily populated as the Twin Cities.
But Elliott says before anyone receives that coveted blanket of roses, they'll be subject to a major investigation. Dakota County racing enthusiasts hope one of their track sites ends up in the winner's circle. The purse means more than $7.5 million in revenue to local governments within the county, and
it also represents an advantage to, we believe, this area of the metropolitan area in terms of employment. I think we're talking some 200 full-time jobs being generated by this facility.
Track sites are expected to spend a year jockeying for that lead position. But by spring '84, one will be off and running on construction. Debbie Ely, WCCO Television News, the Twin Cities.
A delegation of citizens from the Soviet Union has arrived in Minneapolis for face-to-face talks on the implication of the arms race. That story is next on the 6 p.m. report.
Oh boy.
Introducing the easiest way yet to make a dull knife sharp. The Fiskars 2-stage knife sharpener. An honorable new American invention.
Now at all Target stores.
Almost irresistible, those money market interest rates the banks have been dangling. Some gave 20% in December for a few weeks. Then in January, less. February, even less. March, April, not so much to bite at anymore. Aren't you better off now in a money market mutual fund? There's no come on, plus other benefits the banks don't offer. Money market mutual funds, the full-time professionals in the money market.
These are things you want to go up and down, but not this. Take the ups and downs out of your energy bills. Get on Budget Helper.
Me? A hot dog? No way. This is a hot dog.
The Schweiger Tender Bite, made fresh right here in Minnesota. Now this is a hot dog.
Minneapolis is not normally an arena for international diplomacy, but this week, East meets West here.
Right, a 5-day conference on the arms race is underway in Minneapolis, and the discussions are between 40 Americans and 26 Russians. Last night, the Soviets arrived in the Twin Cities for the conference. For the most part, these are high-ranking officials from science, academic, and research institutions and government think tanks. Minneapolis Mayor Don Fraser has been one of the key organizers of the conference. Ann Rubenstein has more.
Organizers of this conference originally expected 28 Soviets to attend, but the United States government denied visas to 2 Russians for reasons publicly unknown. The American delegates represent peace and political organizations, universities, and businesses. The conference is designed to enhance the relationship between the superpowers and to come up with fresh ideas.
To make clear the possibilities of new approaches in arms control and disarmament.
This morning's session was primarily introductory. Remarks from both sides focused on the need to end the arms race. But the perspective on why the arms race continues was different. Some Americans stated that distrust is at the heart of the problem. But this Soviet physician believes competitive corporate greed is as responsible.
This is organized by certain large corporations wishing to sell their arms. This is organized also by certain military circles and those whose lives depend on this military policy.
Minneapolis Mayor Don Fraser brought up human rights issues this morning, issues many Soviets feel are created by the Western media. Fraser said both countries are violators of United Nations standards.
I think it has to be acknowledged that both countries rather freely intervene in other countries, usually in the immediate vicinity, when in those countries regimes come to power or threaten to come to power.
The conference will continue through Saturday with more discussion on the arms race, foreign trade, and mutual understanding. Ann Rubenstein, WCCO Television News, Minneapolis.
A Minneapolis man was justified when he shot a thief who was trying to steal his truck, which was parked in front of his apartment. That decision was made today by the Hennepin County Grand Jury. The grand jury was considering whether Tom Luckin used reasonable force in trying to stop the car theft. Mr. Luckin spotted the attempted theft about 4 o'clock in the morning on April 19th. He ran out of the apartment, shot young Robert Lang in the leg. Lang was subsequently charged with attempted automobile theft. The case was sent to the grand jury because it stirred considerable controversy about the right of property owners to protect their goods. A 17-year-old girl today admitted that she set fire to a house in which 3 young children died. The girl, who is not being identified because she is a juvenile, was babysitting the children at the time of the fire. She said she had been drinking that night and vaguely remembered starting the fire. 2 of the children died of smoke inhalation that night. The 3rd recently died after life support systems were removed. Under the juvenile court system, the most severe sentence the girl could receive would be commitment to the State Commissioner of Corrections until she is 19 years old.
The once mighty economy of the Great Lakes region continues to falter, but governors of those states are trying to revive the economy. Alan Cox's report from Cleveland is next on the 6 p.m. report.
In today's economy, a lot of people are finding it virtually impossible to pay their energy bills. If you're behind in your payments, you might feel that you'll never catch up. If you can't pay your energy bills, contact the Energy Assistance Center. They can help you find out if you qualify for financial assistance. Call one of these numbers. Find out what the Energy Assistance Center can do to help you get the help you need. But call soon. Some assistance programs end May 31st.
The lowest prices of the year are at Montgomery Ward this week. Save on items for your home and car. Valvoline motor oil, 54 cents a quart when you buy 12 quarts. And save on clothing for your family. Wrangler jeans for men and boys. You won't find lower prices on this quality interior and exterior latex paint, half price. And save $70 on this microwave oven. The lowest prices of the year are at Montgomery Ward this week. Hurry, sale ends Saturday.
When you're making a change on the home you love, make sure it's a change for the better.
I told them to use the best.
Why are Anderson windows first in quality? 75 years of innovation, energy efficiency, and pride. That's quality.
Just right.
Just in time.
Come home to quality. Come home to Anderson.
Available at Stewart's Building Mart, Interstate Lumber, and Justice Lumber and Building Center.
Where can you get a lot of gold for just a little green?
Arthur Treacher's. Arthur Treacher's.
Who gives you prime North Atlantic whitefish dipped in a secret golden batter, cooked up golden brown and served up hot and crunchy?
Arthur Treacher's.
Arthur Treachers! Where does a big meal like this cost only a little?
Arthur Treachers!
Arthur Treachers, where you get a lot of golden crunch for just a little green.
Now fish and shrimp combo, only $2.99 at participating Arthur Treachers.
The 6 states bordering the Great Lakes now face the worst economic mess of any region of the United States.
And the governors of those states, including Governor Rudy Perpich, are in Cleveland tonight talking about how to make things better. As Alan Cox reports, the governors are trying to cooperate to improve the economy of the entire Great Lakes region.
The new spirit of cooperation on display here began with the Democrats' sweep of state houses last November. 3 of the new governors, Earl of Wisconsin, Perpich of Minnesota, Celeste of Ohio, won office largely by promising revitalized economies in their states. To succeed, they believe, they'll need help from neighbors. Democrats charge the Midwest has hurt the most under Reaganomics. In the 6 states from Ohio to Minnesota, nearly 3 million people were out of work in March. Those states owe more to the federal government for unemployment compensation than the other 44 states combined. Even in 1980, before the Reagan administration took office, the states sent $33 billion more in taxes to Washington than they got back in federal spending. One thing the states haven't shared is unity.
I think that there is obviously strength in numbers, and together we can enhance those strengths.
A hope of the governors, economic cooperation, was the subject of an afternoon session chaired by Perpich. Some states plan to share a foreign trade office. Democrats want to swear off raiding each other's industry and swear off battles over new business.
I believe that our competition isn't Michigan or Wisconsin or Ohio, but it's Japan and Korea and many in the international scene.
But Republican administrations in Illinois and Indiana are not ready to give up raiding completely.
We're going to continue to compete among each other. That's natural. That's gone on forever. And just as industry in Minneapolis competes with industry in Indianapolis, that's going to happen.
At this hour, the governors are touring Cleveland on an iron ore carrier. They'll have private meetings later on. The governors say, as far as they are concerned, the name Frost Belt is out. The name Water Belt is in. The challenge at this meeting is to see whether the water that brings the states together is enough to overcome the economic competition that's kept them apart. With photographer Dave Cheney, Alan Cox, WCCO Television News, Cleveland.
Mr. Bud, lovingly known to us all as Mr. Weather, has some swell news to tell us about tomorrow's weather, so stay tuned.
We're making men's suits here. Thousands in different fabrics and styles, every size. We're Kuppenheimer, and retailers would sell our clothes at markups that are as much as 100% or more. But you don't have to pay that price for famous Kuppenheimer quality. You can go to your Kuppenheimer factory outlet store, buy superbly tailored suits, sport coats, and slacks direct from us, eliminate the big markups, and keep the savings for yourself.
On 42nd Avenue North, New Hope, and Hazleton Road, Edina.
The more of these protein-rich leaves you save, the better silage you'll have. Pioneer brand 1177 silage inoculant helps you save more leaves by letting you chop at higher moisture. Since 1177 helps control seepage and spoilage in the silo, you end up with better quality silage. Save more of what you grow with 1177.
Bigger yields from your silo with help from Pioneer.
Hi, I'm me, Mary Jean, back for your Chrysler Plymouth dealers, the guys who set the pace in great deals. Now, check the best of both worlds. The Japanese cars imported for Plymouth and built by Mitsubishi. Colt, one of the lowest priced cars around. Sapporo, more standard features for less than Toyota Celica GT or Renault Fuego. Colt and Sapporo. When it comes to imports, nobody speaks a language like your Chrysler Plymouth dealer. Go with the winners. You know who I mean. Your Chrysler Plymouth dealers.
Ready for a shock? I found out all fabric bleach works best in hot water. I also found Borateam, the borax bleacher. It's specially formulated for warm water washing. So when I switched to warm for brightening colors, I switched to Borateam, the borax bleacher.
When I switched to warm to remove stains from synthetics, I switched to Borateam, the borax bleacher.
Borateam is made to whiten, brighten, and remove stains in warm water. So when you switch to warm, switch to Borateam, the borax bleacher.
With amounts of precipitation rather on the light side, 0.02 of an inch this morning in the metro area and kind of scattered spots of precipitation across the country. Our weather headlines tonight will deal with temperatures, starting with the
high ones, we hope.
Well, one of them is. The coolest spot in the country this morning was the temperature at 28 degrees at Gunnison, Colorado, and 106 at Palm Springs, California. And our weather view, as an artist, sketches this rather nice day in the Twin Cities. Sunny, 71 is our temperature now. Humidity at 51%. The wind is from the north at 20, and the pressure reading is 29.87. The pressure is steady. Record for the day, 87 in 1972. But today, the afternoon temperature, 73. Morning low, 57. Sunrise, 5:36, and sunset tonight at 8:45. And the coolest of the seasonal temperatures were in Arkansas this morning. That 45 degrees was a minimum temperature record at Fort Smith. Other temperatures in the 40s, well, Reno and Boise and Fargo, Chicago, and 46 this morning at Portland, Maine. Scattered across the country, precipitation out of the southwest. There's a chance of severe weather parts of New Mexico, northwestern Texas tonight. The rain has moved off the eastern seaboard, and in our own 5-state area, we've had a severe thunderstorm watch most of Iowa, forecast through the evening hours, and showers and thunderstorms are scattered from Waterloo to La Crosse, just south of La Crosse. Late afternoon, winds were at 60 miles an hour, and there was some farm building damage in eastern Houston County, damage to trees there about 4 o'clock this afternoon. Our metro forecast tonight, mostly clear. Northerly winds, 44 for the temperature of the evening, and for tomorrow, a forecast of a sunny day with the afternoon temperature forecast to be at 66 degrees. Winds will be light and variable, and 4 in a row, 4 suns there, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I can't remember a time we've had forecasts like that, 70, 75, and 45 to 48 for the night. I hope we haven't jinxed it.
That's been a while since we've had that. Okay, thanks, Bud. The Consumer Product Safety Commission announced a recall of 770,000 Honeywell smoke detectors. Some of these smoke detectors apparently failed to sound an alarm around smoke. A Honeywell official said they suspect that the number of faulty smoke detectors is really small. The smoke detectors in question are battery operated, and consumers should check theirs to ensure it will sound an alarm around smoke. Consumers with questions on the model numbers and how to exchange this product should call Honeywell.
At the moment, the St. Paul High School Baseball Championship is up for grabs. Ralph John Fritz will update the story in just a moment.
I can't believe I sold Dr. Scholl's air pillow insoles for 9 years in my drugstore and never tried them, till today. The comfort is unbelievable. From this little insole.
Only Dr. Scholl's has the air pillow. It squeezes millions of air bubbles into the super thin cushion, so the pillow takes the pounding instead of your feet.
5 o'clock, and I feel like I've got a new pair of feet.
Dr. Scholl's air pillow insoles, comfort so complete it's like a new pair of feet.
3 tough questions. Ask them all when you buy furniture. When you get your furniture home, if you're not happy with it, will they take it back? Wix will. If you can find the identical item for less elsewhere within 30 days, will they refund the difference? Wix will. Will they give you a written warranty against defects in workmanship good for 5 full years? Wix will. Sure. They call me the toughest retailer in America, but you've got to be tough too. Ask tough questions. Get the right answers.
Right now, Dayton's has savings of 15 to 40% on all Mikasa casual dinnerware and fine china. Save on place settings and sets during the Mikasa sale at Dayton's.
Shine on, Rusty Jones.
Hi, I'm Rusty Jones, the one new car option that appreciates in value. With my gloss treatment, your car will shine on and on. I'll stay with you summer and winter, day and night, not even a coffee break, keeping your car shining on for as long as you own it. So it'll be worth more at trade-in time. Ask for me, Rusty Jones Car Saver System.
Shine on, Rusty Jones, shine on.
The winner of today's game in St. Paul will play the Minneapolis Championship, and they'll both be sentenced to play the Twin Cities Championship in the Metrodome sometime.
That'll be coming up on Thursday. And Cretin is supposed to be the baseball power in St. Paul, Dave. Cretin a loser to Hill Murray. That's the hockey school, the hockey winner this year. Bill Lechner there, Hill Murray on top there, winning 7-1 this afternoon. And Hill Murray jumped off to an early lead off of Cretin in that first game. First inning here, Mike Rydell on the mound for Cretin. Nick Beldy, one of the stalwarts of the Hill Murray Hockey Championship team. Beldy singled to left to knock in a run here, 1-0 Hill, and that was after 1 inning. Second inning, the Pioneers got 3 more. Scott Faust with a bunt, and the result, a couple of throwing errors, allowing 2 more runs to score. And before you know it, it is 4-0 for Hill Murray after 2 innings of play. In the fourth inning, Tim Mowers singled to left here, scored a runner from third, and that made it 5-0 for Hill Murray in the finals. Who said Hill Murray Pioneers 7-1 over Cretin. Hill Murray will now play either Washburn or Edison on Thursday for the Twin Cities title. June 29th, 1982, in the midst of a disastrous season, the Twins won their 19th game. This year, though not exactly on a pennant pace, they are a month ahead of last year's dismal record. Not bad after dropping 8 of their first 9 games this May. Last night, Tom Brunansky led the home run parade with 2 taters of his own as the Twins beat Baltimore 12-4. Dave Engel followed Bruno with a home run shot in the 5th inning. And coming up just a bit later, Gary Ward's 4-bagger sealing the Orioles' doom. Add Gary Gaetti's 15-game hitting streak, currently the longest in the American League, and the Twins have a respectable .271 team batting average. In just a few minutes now, Minnesota will vie for their 4th win on this road trip. Bobby Castile will be on the mound against Scotty McGregor in Baltimore. Continuing first-round action in the French Open tennis tournament in Paris today, no surprise that 3rd-seeded Ivan Lendl of Czechoslovakia was an easy first-round winner. Same goes for 4th-seeded Guillermo Vilas. But the shocker of the day was the loss by 9th-seeded Vitas Gerulaitis, upset by 22-year-old Hans Simonsen of Sweden. Minnesota freshman sensation Frederick Paulette is back in the Twin Cities after his remarkable showing in the NCAA tennis tournament this past weekend. Paulette gave Mark Rosen of Channel 4 a quick lesson this afternoon, and the Lord only knows Mark needs it after his doubles loss to yours truly and Mr. Schwartz over Dragon Rosen. Frederick, though, became just the 5th freshman in the history of the NCAA tournament to reach the finals. Jimmy Connors and John McEnroe were 2 of the others. Greg Holmes of Utah beat Paulette 6-3, 6-2. Frederick has the opportunity to turn pro, but said he would definitely return to the university next year. Frederick will go back to his native Sweden for a short time, will return to play in the Minikata Invitational this summer, also is hoping to qualify for the U.S. Open in New York this fall. Doubles partner played Paulette, no surprise. His teammate Stefan Eriksson, he will also have the highlights, Mark Rosen will, at 10 o'clock. And what a weekend of crappie fishing for Ethel Hansen of Bloomington. Ethel caught the largest of 63 crappies caught on Rainy Lake in northern Minnesota. This one went 2¼ pounds. Do crappies really get that big? Ethel's little boy Howie also snagged a few crappies. Howie is a happy man these days. What with the passing of the fishing bill in the state legislature yesterday, Howie is the vice president of the Minnesota Sport Fishing Congress, and proof that the Hansen party did catch more than just a couple of crappies on Rainy Lake last weekend. A reminder, too, that the bass season opens in Minnesota this Saturday, so we're looking forward to that. We'll be out in Minnetonka. Dave?
All right, and we're out of time for tonight's 6 p.m. report.
We'll be back, though, again at 10. We hope to see you then. Good night, everyone.
Hi, I'm Pat Brown.
And I'm Steve Doyle.
I'm Grace Lorenzi. Grace is the winner of our PM Magazine co-host for an evening contest.
She'll be joining us on our show tonight from Dinkytown.
Today is the dawning of a new age in banking. When building for the future, it's best to plan with someone who has seen it. Some people know, others need to be convinced. At Metro Banks, our services speak for themselves. Metro?
Metro Banks.
Your metropolitan banks.
Just a little ahead of our time.
For a great vacation, just say the word.
Say yes to Michigan. Say yes, yes, yes. Say yes.
We've got a whole state full of great vacation values, 3,000 miles of shore, and a whole lot more.
Say yes to Michigan.
For more travel information, call toll-free.
Say yes.
I'm glad the American
American Dairy Association of Wisconsin asked me to talk to you about something I really believe in, milk. For as long as I can remember, I've enjoyed the good taste of milk. In fact, it's been my favorite beverage since I was a child. Milk was an easy choice then, and still is today. Milk has a fresh, wholesome taste like no other beverage. Plus, it's packed with solid nutrition. Why not pour yourself a glass right now and discover why? Milk's an easy choice.
WCCO Television, Minneapolis, St. Paul.